This is the behind-the-scenes look into the specialized Levo SL action video. In this video, I'd like to share some details on my process behind this piece. We're going to deep dive into some of the equipment and technology used, and specifically the new OM system, OM-1 camera and its features. And hopefully, you get a better understanding on how I execute action-focused shoots like this one.
Action!
My name is Eyre-Walker and I'm an OM system ambassador, and I make a living as a professional photographer and cinematographer. Mostly my work is focused on outdoor and adventure stories. When OM System approached me and asked if I could shoot some high-speed action in order to show off the slow-motion features of the new OM-1 camera, I decided, instead of just slowing down random things, I wanted to do something a little different. So after a few weeks of planning and trying to figure out what and how to shoot, I teamed up with a local Specialized dealer and with Specialized directly in order to create a promotional piece for one of their e-mountain bikes. Not only would this be a great opportunity to show off the new camera and its features, but also demonstrate how the OM-1 is capable of producing high quality material a big client like Specialized would use to promote their bikes with. Behind every cool project there's more than just an awesome new camera. In fact, it took me around a month to just plan and pre-produce this project. But far more importantly, it's the amazing crew of people who helped me bring my visions to life. And for this project, I put together a crew of 7 people. Our rider was Jimmy, who works for Specialized as well. Wesley, the gimbal operator once the camera was on the cable cam, and really my right-hand man when it comes to shooting anything. He's so familiar with bike riding and filming bikes. I couldn't have done this without him. Then there's my dad Piers and Alain, who were the cable cam crew / location scouts, also really useful. We had Roy, who was the behind the scenes / making of guy, and Dany, who came on location to record some of the sounds that would play a really important role later on in the cut. And then there's myself. I was the director, cinematographer and editor of this piece. For this film, the goal was to show off the Specialized Levo SL mountain bike and how light and maneuverable it is. So to sell this feeling, I wanted to capture super smooth, fast-moving footage of the rider shredding through various kinds of landscapes. And of course, some really cool slow-motion action of the bike mechanics moving and working to help the rider navigate the trail. But the biggest problem that we had was the bad snowy conditions. They didn't allow for really fast or smooth riding or for big jumps or anything like that. So to enhance that feeling of flow, I had to compensate with super fast and ultra smooth camera movement. Now to achieve that, I took advantage of 2 things. 1, the camera. The main focus here was obviously to create something that would place the key video features of the new OM-1 camera in the foreground. So why is the OM-1 a great tool for this kind of production? Well, we were in really cold, wintry, grotty conditions, not exactly suited for all kinds of cameras, especially not non-weather sealed cinema cameras. And for such a small camera, the key video features of the OM-1 are really impressive. It shoots 4K 60 in 10-bit internally, something that OM System has finally delivered, and they've really done it well. The image looks super nice and is a joy to grade in post-processing. You add to that the capability of shooting in 200 frames per second in 2K in 10-bit internally, or even up to 240 frames in 8-bit to really slow down time and action, and you've got yourself a really capable filming camera. I love the IBIS of the OM system cameras. The ability to just grab the camera, take it off the cable cam and throw in some smooth handheld shots was a real time saver, because I could be knocking out those insert and slow-mo shots all while the cable cam team was rigging the next, more complex shot. And you add to that the amazing weather sealing of the OM system camera. I mean, I could be shooting really close up in the mud, of the water splashing up. I'd never really had to worry about the camera failing on me on that aspect, because it just got a few drops on it. And ultimately that really helped immerse the viewer into the riding experience of the film. And when it comes to grading, I was really positively surprised. Once graded, the flat log footage that comes out of the camera really gives you, good dynamic range, and the 10-bit color depth really helps to push and pull footage and makes it so much easier to match different takes from different times of day with different white balance situations. It helps you tell the story. All in all, I was super impressed with the OM-1, and for cold, wet or muddy outdoor shoots like this, the mobility aspect of a smaller system really helps to stay creative. You're always moving around, looking for new compositions, and my life as a filmmaker is made so much easier through that, and ultimately more fun. 2. The cable cam. Noxon is a startup from Spain, and they build all kinds of camera stabilizing equipment. But the reason I picked their high-speed cable cam is the ability to go at, you guessed it, high speeds. Other cable cams tend to be much slower or of inferior build quality, less reliable, or much higher priced. Their cable cam is really well built, simple to use, and quick to mount and dismount. All in all, a full package that simply does what it promises. Oh, and did I mention already, it goes fast. Attached to the cable cam was a gimbal that allowed us to remotely control and point the camera to track the rider once the cable cam was flying down the line. And I also added a remote video feed and wireless focus motors to be able to focus, monitor, and trigger the recording of the camera once it was on the line. The key features of the cable cam is that it allows for really smooth yet fast-moving tracking shots in a densely overgrown natural area that you can't achieve any other way. So the cable cam and gimbal combined with the OM-1 IBIS work so well that we were able to shoot some scenes at around 35 to 40 kilometers per hour with 125mm lenses, butter smooth. That's really cool. Now the cable cam is also super programmable. You set the A and B points where it automatically, starts and stops, and it brakes for you, so you're not going to slam it into any trees at the end of the line. You set the maximum speed, so we could always adjust it so it would be, tracking at approximately the same speed as our rider. And it just was a real joy to use. We shot this piece over 3 days, although the first day was more of a testing session, as we really needed to figure out all of the gear and the process a little, as shooting this kind of sport was entirely new to me. Over the following 2 days, we shot 4 to 5 cable cam shots per day, and in between rigging and de-rigging the cable cam, I was picking up some of my favorite spots like jumps or cool turns that we were getting on the cable cam line to capture then in slow motion handheld. To create insert shots, I also used the gimbal handheld a little bit to run around the landscape, and that would also serve as insert shots or connector shots between the cable cam shots. Considering that we only had one OM-1 for the entire shoot, it was basically being used non-stop. From 9 AM to 5 PM it was on all the time. We never really switched it off. And I got around 80-90% of the day done with one battery before having to change it. That's really impressive. Most of the cable cam shots took us around 4 to 6 takes. Plus we would change lenses once we got more confident with the framing and the movement. Ultimately I ended up using the longer lens shots more in the final cut, as they were more dynamic and it really helped with that feeling of flow of riding that bike. Since there wasn't too much of a big story to be told here, it was just a cool action piece. I was able to just pick my favorite shots and mix and match and put them together the way I liked it most. And I knew that sound was obviously going to be a big important part of the feeling of flow. So I actually spent more time on the sound design together with Dany to get this really right than on the cut. all in all, it was a really successful project that couldn't have turned out any better. And honestly, I couldn't have done it without the help of everyone involved. And I'm really proud what we've achieved. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this short insight of the making of, and yeah, hopefully you're inspired to go out and do your own cool project. And of course, thanks for watching the video.